I 22F just found out that my roommate 24M has been telling people that I'm his girlfriend. I've been charging my roommate $100 plus cost of raw ingredients for me to meal prep lunches for him. Personally, I prefer having more variety in my prepared meals, so I'm happy to actually do this. Unfortunately, I just found out from bumping into one of his friends, who I met briefly at our apartment, that he has been using this to boast to his social circle that we're a couple and I'm his. So apparently he has shown people my photos in our apartment to prove we are together and has been describing in great detail our imaginary sex life. This is really awkward and I still have 7 months on the lease. Is this even worth uprooting from the apartment for? I'm kinda mad because this is a great location at a great price, and if possible I would like not to leave, especially since I've done nothing wrong. Any advice would help greatly, please. Thanks in advance. You need to talk to him. Tell him it's not okay to lie about your relationship and interactions, and that it's unattractive and creepy that he would share intimate details even if it was true. He needs to stop and apologize. You deserve to feel safe in your home, not being lusted after by someone you thought you could trust. Maybe you should stop meal prepping for him. I went through this a long time ago. I'd never even touched the guy and he had this whole imaginary relationship going in his head. It stopped when I started dating his friend, but then he had a total meltdown and I had to move out. You could try calling him out on it, but sometimes it's best to just get far away from them. In my experience, that situation isn't gonna get better. Tell his friends that you broke up after you caught him trying to fuck his dog. If he can make up lies, then so can you. So you're renting from him or he's renting from you. Either way, this could be legal grounds to break your lease agreement. It is harassment. This feels like the beginning of a true crime episode. These are warning signs of a stalker. I'd silently move out without a conversation and fully ghost. Raise the price you charge him for meal prep immediately and cite this nonsense as the reason for the surcharge. What your roommate did, and is doing, is incredibly uncool. You were a good roommate and he conflated that with ways in which he could convince his friends you were together. Please sit down with him and explain that you had heard he was telling people you were together and that you do not see him in that way whatsoever. You can give him a chance to correct this, and try to maintain a roommate friendship until the lease is up. But if he doesn't, you can out him. He's made this living situation the way it is, and he needs to fix it before you either leave or he's outed as a liar who lied about his roommate to make it look like someone was interested in him. And while that's incredibly sad, you're a human with value and not something to be used to make him look good. Start by asking him what the hell he's doing. He may be embarrassed that you found out and has enough shame to knock it off and you get to stay the last 7 months. He may also get clingy and beg you to really be his girlfriend because he fell in love with you. Blah blah blah. In which case it would be too creepy to stay another week. Either way, ya gotta talk to the guy. I'm a guy, so maybe getting a perspective from a girl may seem more understandable. Also, I'm speaking from an aspect that doesn't understand the situation and dynamic of the relationships. Personally, I'd speak with a roommate because the buddy may be making it up. If it's true that your roommate has been spreading rumors, I'd have a heart-to-heart talk with him. Being that he is understanding the situation may be resolved. Considering you're a girl, I'd also ask a neutral person. Probably better to ask a dependable guy to be there just in case anything escalates. Questions I have are: do you feel safe around this roommate, and how's the vibe with your roommate? If you feel unsafe or get weird vibes, definitely move out. I think a lot of problems can be solved by clearing it up through talking, but if at any time you feel unsafe, please go to stay with someone you trust. meaning before, during, or after having the talk with your roommate and you still don't feel safe. I might be making this go out of proportion, but I think safety is the most important at the moment. Until you have the leisure to really think things through. I just want to reiterate, I don't understand the situation well enough to give sound advice. I would just verbally rip him a new one and make sure his friends know that he made up a fake girlfriend to impress them. Hopefully, he'll be too embarrassed to pull any shit like that again. If you don't feel safe living with him anymore, then of course you should explore your options in terms of getting him out of there. But this scenario doesn't give me dangerous vibes. Just weird and kinda pathetic vibes. I've also had someone make up stories that we were having sex on the regs and was telling all of our friends. We'd never even kissed and had only hung out one-on-one like 2 or 3 times. Of course I heard about it from someone. So I confronted him and told him I wasn't mad. I really wasn't. Just confused and weirded out. Didn't you know that I would find out and say something? So now not only do you have no chance with me compared to the slim odds you were working with in the first place, but everyone you told, and probably more, is going to know that you're a liar and a creep because I had to set the record straight. Don't do that shit again. Never had any more trouble from him. Clear that up immediately. Either a post about your room, solo room, or something about going on dates. I.e. making it clear that you're single AF. Depending on how this guy is, I would confront him, but you have 7 months left, so it makes me weary of pushing that for safety reasons. But stop meal prepping for him. Nothing extra. Be passing ships in the apt. I'd advocate cautioning, confronting him, and maybe think carefully about staying. The fact that he's done this is disturbing to say the least. He's either just a natural-born liar and/or playing a joke that is in no way funny, or he's so lost in his delusion and fantasy that he can't differentiate between what's real and what's not. No matter what IHS reasoning is, I really don't think he can be trusted, especially when the two of you are alone. A great location and price is not worth your safety. If you don't need the money, I'd say stop making the meal prep. If you don't feel uncomfortable in the house with him, I'd say you don't have to move buddies. Telling people you two are having sex, that is enough to me to warrant leaving. If something were to happen, he'd have coworkers and friends thinking it's just a couple thing. So, if you are comfortable with it, confront him. This is reason enough to break the lease. He has projected a sexual relationship between the two of you to his social circle. He needs to correct this immediately. You should record the confrontation for your own proof. Next time you make his meals and he thanks you, I would ask, are you sure you don't want to thank me by... Insert sex story here. Quote. Advise him that it's not cool for him to be saying these things about you. It devalues your roommate relationship and any friendship you may have. If he doesn't stop, you will start telling his friends that he is a terrible in bed with a small penis. Depends. You could talk to him and do a fake breakup. Or you could expose him and find a way to end the lease agreement. Both options are within you, right? It really depends on how close the two of you are and if you want to fix any roommate friendship you two have. This happened to me, but fortunately I wasn't living in the same home as him. We worked together. I worked in a shop at the airport, and when I first started there, he would come into the shop and take stock of the items I needed and then go get them from the stockroom. He started off by flirting with me and he wrote his number down on a till receipt. I politely declined. Then he carried on pushing and would flirt and ask for my number each day he saw me. I eventually told him I was gay. The truth. But he didn't believe me. I ended up having a stern conversation with him and told him he was making me feel uncomfortable, etc. So he backed off and didn't really speak to me. Months later I got moved to a different part of the airport in one of the other shops, and they were All like, "Oh, hey, you're Adam's girlfriend." And I was stood there completely shocked, and I told them no. And everyone explained that he'd been telling them all for over 6 months that me and him were dating. Details of our imaginary sex life and movie nights at his etc. I was completely taken back by this. If I'd never met these people, how long would he have carried that on for? Anyway, I caught up to him that day and told him that I'd be reporting him to my manager for the inappropriate things he said and told people about me. It's not the same as yours, but very similar. Why do people do this? I've seen Dateline. Get the fuck away from him. Logically, I'd say have a conversation with him about it and tell him to stop. Petty me says get an actual boyfriend and rub it in his face, or have an elaborate breakup in front of his friends. Sad reality me thinks moving out might be best, because rejected men can go from harmless to dangerous very quickly, or at the very least make your last 7 months very awkward and or uncomfortable. It's creepy enough to claim that you're his GF, but adding a made-up detailed sex life crosses so many lines. Wouldn't trust the guy. That is a huge violation. I would not feel safe living with him. I would ask him to move, since he's the one spreading lies about the nature of your relationship. I would not confront him alone. If he gets violent, he can easily overpower you. Also, the fact that he's been describing your sex life, that doesn't even exist, in great detail means he could be a potential sexual abuser. Don't take chances. Ask him in the presence of the person who told you about the rumors. And then tell him in very clear language that you're single and that he should stop spreading lies. Stop making meals for him, even if he pays. Just say you don't want to do it anymore. Secondly, start going on dates. Get Tinder or another app and just start going out with other guys. Make it super obvious, especially to the roommate. Post pics in your IG about getting ready for a first date, or whatever, to prove you're single. Talk about your dates to your friend group. He will probably be embarrassed, but this will teach him not to ever behave like this again. It's beyond creepy.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.